Hello everyone and welcome back to the Girls Club podcast. In this second episode, we will be discussing the expectations of sex at university, the pressure that girls feel, and body counts. Let's welcome our guests. So what are both your names and how old are you?
Hi, I'm Caitlin and I'm 20 years old.
Hi, I'm Anna and I'm also 20 years old.
And where do you both go to university?
Southampton.
So have your views on sex changed since coming to uni?
I would say so, yeah. I think I'm a lot more liberal about sex at uni, especially as I came to uni in a relationship and now I'm single, so my opinion's really changed, yeah.
See, I don't think my opinion's changed too much because I was single before uni and then I've been single at uni.
So do you feel like you both kind of embraced like the chance to be able to just have sex
I think
freely?
it's been a lot easier to have sex freely because where you've got your own space.
Yeah, you kind of have more freedom.
You're not being monitored and who's coming in and out.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier.
Do you think you would have had less or more sex if you didn't come to uni?
Less. A lot less.
Again, do you think that's because when you're at home, it's
Yeah,
obviously
sharing
a
with
lot.
my sister.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot more difficult, isn't it? Than especially if you're just living in a house of 6 girls. The opportunities are there. Is your sex life different to your friends back home? And if it is, why do you think that?
Yes, because a lot of my friends at home are in relationships, and also I think the people who don't go to uni don't understand like uni sex culture, and I think it's just not as like normal to like go on like regular hookups and stuff. Like that's just like not really normal behaviour. And people are a bit worried about getting like a reputation for themselves.
Yeah, because I feel like when at home everyone knows everyone, so you have to be careful about who you're sleeping with, whereas I feel like at uni you kind of know you're only here for like a short amount of time.
And I feel like when you're at home, like most people just have like a normal job.
Yeah.
So they don't really have the nights out on a Wednesday. They don't have the, like, they're not going out as much. They don't really have like the opportunities that we would as uni students to kind of like go out and have sex or like do all this kind of stuff. Especially with nights out, I feel like if you're one to kind of have like a random one night stand, if you're going out a lot, that's more likely to happen, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you still think there are unfair judgments made between men and women at uni when they have a lot of sex? Obviously, if as a girl we had a lot of sex, I think even if we were at uni or at home, we'd still get the reputation of being a slag, you know, or a whore, whatever you want to call it. But if a guy has a lot of sex, then to him and his mates it's all just like lad banter and like he's kind of like glorified as this sex god and we're just like shoved to the side, but it takes two people to have sex.
Yeah, I definitely think it's the same at uni. I think girls, like, no matter where you are, you're always going to get that stigma if you're sleeping with a lot of people.
Yeah, it's having a casual sex.
Yeah.
I think it's just as bad within like we say like lads and lad culture and like judging each other, but I think girls are just as bad to be like, oh, she's a slag.
Girls slate on girls a lot.
Which I think doesn't help us as women to help each other because our own kind are literally battering us for wanting to have casual sex. Like, I don't get what's wrong with it. Do you think they should have more sexual health education available on campus? So like regular STD tests given out, kind of information about what to do, because I feel like sex ed is taught at school for about 5 minutes. You get shown a couple of pictures about what chlamydia looks like and then it's never really spoken about again.
It's weird, isn't it? Because they're like teaching like us during secondary school where we're a lot younger and it's not as relevant, whereas now it's like everyone is having sex. It's probably more relevant to talk about it now.
Personally, I think there should be more because my experience of like getting sexual health testing, I feel like it's actually quite difficult. And
it is so difficult.
I didn't even know how to get it until you guys told me.
Yeah.
And I feel like I had to work that out for myself. Like even stuff I'd learned at school, they never said like, oh, like go to this website and you can like do this, that, and the other. Like that wasn't like really available. I had to try and work it out for myself. Like.
Well, exactly. I mean, all I remember being taught is like I said, like you get shown a couple of pictures and like all of this. Like they don't talk about gay sex. They don't talk about anything. It's like you come to uni, like you're doing all this stuff, and it's like most girls, you know, I think that's why uni is quite high for STDs because that's when everyone's having sex, but they're obviously not educated, which is no one's fault because you kind of rely on the system to kind of tell you these things without having to go out of your way to look it up. And it is unfair how difficult it is to get an appointment at the sexual health clinic. they're having to ring up at literally 8 a.m. or you don't get an appointment. And it's like, I think that's what makes a lot of people not go. And most people don't even know that you can get it ordered to your house for free.
As well, again, it's like people don't want to do it because it's embarrassing if they find out they have got it. I think a lot of that stigma of having an STD needs to get removed because it's like it is becoming a normal thing.
Yeah, I mean, it like STDs like are common, like they're so common, like, and I think it's scary for some girls because they think it's like the end of the world because they don't know how easily things can be treated or kind of like solved.
It's literally like the same treatment as if you have like tonsillitis, and it's a similar like kind of way that you just catch it, you know, through fluid, which is the same way that you catch like illnesses. Yeah,
I think just because there's been such a stigma on it since like day one, it's just like, you have chlamydia. It's like,
it like links back to
you have cold.
Having loads of sex, isn't it? It links back to that whole girls getting stigmatised for it.
So, I think we've spoken about this before, but would you agree that there is more of a stigma around body counts at home or at uni or just everywhere?
I think there's less of a stigma about body counts at uni because I do think everyone's in that mindset of, it doesn't matter, who cares? Yeah. Whereas if it was at home, people are like, because people aren't having as much sex at home, so they don't understand how your body count could have got
that high. Because they don't.
Because they're limited to the same bunch of people that they've grown up with. You're not gonna. And like you said, loads of your friends are home in relationships.
Yeah.
So it's
I think as well, it's like you're more likely to get judged for it at home. So like people kind of are more likely to lie. So the more that the stigma like is around being like, oh yeah, I haven't slept with like that amount of people, I've slept with this amount, the more likely that you're not like willing to be open about it. Whereas at uni, you feel like, oh, it's uni, like everyone's on the same vibe, like no one's gonna judge me. A lot more people are a lot more open about it. And then you are happy about that because you don't think it's going to get back to people at home, and like you feel like you can almost live like a double life.
Yeah, I feel like uni does make me feel like I'm living a double life. I mean, I think it depends on how much time you spend at home, how much time you spend here, and kind of who your friends are. If all your friends are at home or all your friends are here, I feel like it can kind of change how you think. Because if you didn't really have any friends at uni but all your friends were at home, I feel like you'd understand them more of the whole like, oh, I don't really want a high body count because that's the environment that you're in kind of thing. But if all of your friends are kind of in and out of uni, then it's like you're more likely to kind of do you think university has opened your eyes about sexuality? Did you ever kind of, I guess in yourself, like did you ever wonder if you could be anything other than straight, or like do you think your eyes have just been opened in general just because of how kind of open it is at uni?
I feel like I've seen a lot more and like heard a lot more than I had at home, and like I've realised that it's so much more normal for people to like experiment and stuff than I realised, and like a lot more people, not that I don't think that maybe doesn't go on at home, I'm just like it's more likely, and also I think it's more likely for people to talk about it and for people to hear about it. I think like also with the drinking culture of uni, it's kind of like people are quite like can be quite open about things like that, and it kind of comes out in like drinking, getting drunk,
never have I ever, or truth or dare.
Like you said, more open about things, and whereas back at home that was never a talked about subject of experimenting or like finding out about your sexuality. It wasn't, because if you spoke about that, people would just jump straight onto the bandwagon. Oh well, if you're thinking like that, then do you know what I mean?
I actually like really vividly remember, this is really weird, but I really vividly remember like bringing something up in sixth form, and I was like, yeah, like that's really normal. I swear like everyone kind of does that kind of stuff at uni, and everyone was like, like why would you say that? That's so weird. And I was like, oh, okay.
It's just the whole like clique of like people just having their opinions, and then that opinion being like what's supposed to be right or wrong. But I think that's just an issue within society, to be honest. Would you ever date a uni boy, given you know what most of them are like? Obviously there's a difference between, so Anna, you're at uni but your boyfriend isn't.
I never felt, I don't know, I never was attracted to uni boys because that could be to do with how they are. Like I know a lot of them aren't looking for anything serious, so it made it hard to see anything more than casual sex with them in a way.
I don't know. I feel like maybe not whilst they're at uni, but I feel like maybe a boy that's had like a uni experience. Like
definitely.
Uni. But I feel like maybe whilst I'm at uni, no, just because again, like what Anna said, like the way that they are, and like
They're definitely sleeping with multiple people.
And they're very, I think when, like, obviously there is that middle class culture about uni, like everyone's educated, like we're well educated people. They can be very really manipulative because they're educated.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether that goes away after uni, you know.
Well, boys don't actually mature until they're like 25, 26. So I feel like at uni they're still kind of buzzing and they're like, oh, vaginas, like, oh, exciting.
And a lot of like people that came to uni, like you for example, came in a relationship and a lot of those relationships broke down. So a lot of these boys aren't looking to jump into another relationship.
Yeah.
With a girl, what, you're going to be here for another year, then to be everyone's off in their own direction again. In a lot of people's head, it doesn't make sense. That's why they'd rather stay single.
Yeah. But then I know that at third year, I mean, obviously the thing is about uni as well, if you get a relationship, if you meet someone at uni, that's great, but then what about when they go home and they live 3 hours away?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's just a whole kind of boundary of like, is it actually going to work kind of thing.
Yeah,
but I feel like
a lot of people put their walls up.
Yeah, but I do notice a lot in third year especially because most people are actually kind of more focused on work, that a lot of the boys then are kind of maybe a little bit more interested in settling down because they're trying not to like go out every weekend, but that isn't most of the boys anyway. So has being at uni given you more confidence within sex, either like about yourself, like
100%. Definitely. I think as well coming to uni and having more sex, like I learned a lot more about myself, what I liked, what I don't like, because you have more freedom to be having sex more regularly. Whereas at home, I wasn't having that much sex. I didn't have a boyfriend. Like, I don't know. It definitely opens up your eyes.
Yeah.
Do you agree? Definitely, I agree. And I think as well, like coming from being in a relationship to then like experiencing like casual sex, like it made me learn so much about myself. And again, like Anna said, like so much of what I don't and like do like, and like kind of the way that sex like should be, and kind of like how someone should treat you, like during sex.
Would you say that your trust issues have either gotten better or worse since being at uni? Is that for both of you? Is that through just bad experiences with boys at uni?
I'd say so, but also like watching like other people and also like friends that I have that are boys and seeing the way they act.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think when you're friends with boys and they get to the point where they see you as one of the boys, you'll start. I mean, God, no, I literally found out so much, and I was just like, wow, like you're actually a piece of shit. Like, I think it's just mad. Have you ever had an experience at uni that made you feel uncomfortable?
Yes.
Would you like to give an example?
I have been pressured into having sex with a boy before.
Yeah.
And I wasn't drunk, and I just felt like it was really odd. And when I met him, when I was drunk, he seemed like a nice boy, and then when it came to it, he clearly was not a nice boy. So I think it's interesting, like he was a boy that studied at my uni, and I think it's just interesting that you see these people and you think, oh, they're like young boys, like you don't see them as like big scary men, but in actual fact, like, you know, these people are capable of bad things.
Yeah. And
I think there's just, some boys need to be more educated about what's right and wrong.
They do. I feel like you just feel unsafe sometimes as well. Like, I think it is scary, like, going, like, obviously one night stands, like, they're so normal, but I always have the fear of, like, I don't know you, like, you could be anyone, like, you could do anything, like, especially if you're in that state. I think it's just really, like, I don't know, I feel like there needs to be more precautions for women and men as well. Like, men can get taken home by women and get like.
I think the scary idea is when you've brought someone home that you're then in that situation of, I don't want to do this. How do you get that person out? Because they've already presumed that because they're home, they're having sex with you.
Yeah.
But I just think that shouldn't be normalised. It shouldn't be because I'm bringing you back to my room, we're having sex. No.
Yeah, and then if you simply say,
that's not.
I don't want to have sex, they're always like, but why?
Yeah.
Or come on. It's like,
they'll keep. The thing that bothers me with boys is when you say no, they'll keep thinking, oh, but I can change your mind. If someone said no, they don't need their mind changed.
No, it's a full sentence.
Yeah, and that they always have to have a valid reason that suits them as to why you can't have sex. It can't just be no. Has to be like, but why?
It's an ego like deflation for them in like their minds, and I just think it kind of like in that sense it's blurring the lines.
But don't get me wrong, because as a girl, it's not nice either if you want to sleep when they say no to you. It's that feeling of rejection, but I think with girls we're a lot less, we wouldn't push it.
No, I wouldn't want to like have sex with someone that didn't want to have sex with me.
Yeah, because girls take it as rejection, I think, and think, oh, well, I'm not going to keep embarrassing myself.
Yeah.
I'll remove myself from the situation.
But with guys, it's like
I need to boost my ego. Like,
it's like I'm not going to leave here feeling like a mug.
Yeah, exactly.
To them, that's what that would feel like.
And it's like you even get boys like lying about having had sex with you at uni. Like, why?
Making up that I've slept with you. Why?
I know.
It's weird. It's so weird. I think boys and their egos just get too carried away. Speaking of, have you ever felt judged by friends about a sexual experience? This could be friends at uni or friends who aren't at uni.
Not by friends, but I think my sisters are very judgmental on like, they're both in relationships, they both only slept with like, you know, under 5 people, and they've been like people they've been with long term. And I think they're very like judgmental of my lifestyle because they can't understand it, and they don't understand why I want to do that, and they don't understand why it's not like easy for me to like go and like just get a boyfriend. Like, why can't I just?
I wish it was that easy.
Yeah, I think they think it's very easy. But in that sense, yeah, and I think if more of my family knew, they would definitely be very judgmental of my lifestyle.
But that is just an older generation thing. Like I remember I was on the phone to my grandma and I was saying about how like sometimes I get free drinks when I'm out, and she was like, but do they only expect a drink? Because back when I was young, if you bought someone a drink, that was your offering of like, we're gonna have sex. And I was like, well, that's crazy to think that now if you get a drink off someone, it's just like, oh, I'm gonna run away now. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not like we're having sex now, you bought me a drink. But I think that's just like a generation thing of like,
yeah, I definitely think the generations are so different, because even when you just speak to your parents about their whole hobby, it's like, oh, it's weird.
It is so weird.
I think sometimes the lines are a bit
They saw the
crossed,
things that we went out in wearing, like.
Are you grateful of your uni experience, kind of opening your eyes, like all these things that you've kind of realised or noticed at uni? Do you think you would, like, even though you might find uni shit, do you think you would take any of that back, or are you kind of glad that it's happened?
I'm a firm believer that everything happens for a reason.
Yeah, I agree.
So I don't think I would take anything back that I've done, and like even things that I'm like, oh, that was a bit questionable.
But you learn from it.
I think
like,
everything you
learning.
do, as well, like leads you to where you are today. And I think if you would say you had any regrets, then that means you're regretting where you are now.
Yeah, definitely. And speaking of uni culture, have you ever felt the need to change yourself to kind of fit into it? Like, this could be sex-wise, or even how you look, or like how you kind of feel about yourself. If you were to go on a night out, would you suddenly be like, oh, actually, I might need to be a bit booby now, just because that's the style, or like?
When I was single, I don't know whether it was since being at uni, because I was quite like it at home as well, but I definitely started to, when I wanted boys' attention, you dress more inappropriately, you get your tits out, you get your bum out, because you want that attention, that validation that you're not getting from a relationship.
Yeah.
I think at uni, because like boys are so much more on your mind, you maybe do it a lot more.
I think like I've definitely really over-sexualised myself in a way sometimes, because I think where I've come to notice that there are not many uni boys that are like looking for something long term or looking for something more committed, I go into things now with that mindset of, okay, this is about sex, so I'm going to purely make this about sex, because otherwise I'm going to hurt my own feelings. So I try and like create this ulterior like this alter ego of, I'm so like cool and like cold and like I don't care, like trying to have like almost like a masculine opinion of sex to try and like protect myself.
I don't have feelings, which is, and it's like you shouldn't have to teach yourself to disattach feelings. Feelings are a good thing.
Yeah.
You come to uni, it's like you can't have feelings, you can have sex, but you can't have feelings.
But I think that's mainly on the sole fact, I'm not saying that it's all boys, but it's probably because most boys, you know, the only time that you've given yourself to a boy, they've just gone and fucked it all up, so now that's just like a natural thing to be like, do you know, or like I can't be bothered to do that again, which is completely normal. And do you think that uni has changed the way you meet sexual partners? I guess COVID is kind of relevant to this, but has it made you kind of open to dating apps and stuff? Like, did you have Tinder or Hinge or anything before you came to uni?
So I was in a relationship when I came to uni and for like most of first year, And I never would have thought of like going on like a dating app, and I wasn't really like aware of how prevalent it was.
Yeah.
Because like in a weird way, like the only people that I knew were on dating apps was only my dad was on a dating app. I knew my mum's friends were on dating apps, and I thought, oh, like young people aren't on dating apps. That's for people who like are like past their prime, like and they can't like find anyone. And like it's really changed my opinion, because like then I broke up with my boyfriend and was like, right, so what do I do now?
Literally.
And I started to use Tinder almost like to, you know, have someone there like as some sort of like comfort. And then it kind of just became, yeah, it's such a trend. And I think it's a trend of like on social medias and stuff, like which like dating apps are most popular, like which ones you should use. It's always adverts.
And it's like if you're
it.
single, you're on Tinder. It's just presumed you're on Tinder, like
yeah.
or Hinge or any of these new imagined dating apps, and it's just it feeds into that hookup culture massively, because you'll get all these likes and matches and people wanting to meet up with you, but the amount of people that will straight up just send you a dick pic, like it's not normal. It's not.
It's rude.
You wouldn't meet someone in person.
Yeah, you did
So it really straight away people are like, their intentions are, we're gonna have sex.
Yeah, and I feel like on Tinder as well, I know with some of the boys that I've spoken to, I'll look at him and be like, oh my god, like he's beautiful, and then he speaks and I'm like, right, so you haven't even given me the chance here. Like they'll always be like, what are you looking for? Because to them it's like, I only want sex.
One of the first questions you get asked is, what are you looking for?
And sometimes
and if
even
you say
in their
anything too
bios,
seriously, no, done, blocked.
Yeah, it's like sometimes their bios are like just looking for sex, or it's like in the area for like a few days and looking for sex.
Coming back to that whole over-sexualising yourself, when dating apps was like, it is just based on your pictures. To catch a boy's attention, you're gonna want to over-sexualise yourself, because they're swiping through however many girls.
Yeah, and you want it's like you're selling like yourself to be like the best.
Girls as well though, like we'll still pick up, say a boy's got his top off and he's got a nice set of abs, like swipe.
Yeah.
Realistically, we're
it's the same
animals
either way.
No, but it's true.
It's a shame, because it takes, in a way, like I wish dating was still how it used to be, in that sense that it's not straight away like, oh, let's have sex. That should come.
Yeah, it should be, oh, like, can I get your number?
Yeah,
or let's go for a date. Like, just not.
It should be whatever you want it to be.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, if there's people out there that just want to have, like, fucking do it. But I just feel like it's more, especially
being mutual.
At uni, yeah, I feel like it's just more drawn to the fact that, like, if you're on Tinder. Like, I even had a girl message me being like, when are we gonna fuck? And I was like, honey, like, sorry. Like, I just don't like that sort of abruptness of just being like, when we're gonna fuck, it's like, okay, well you've just decided what our relationship is now gonna be.
And I do think that's the thing, like on texting, social media, like it's so much more like that. Like you wouldn't meet this person in real life, that's not the first thing they're saying to you.
Yeah.
Maybe on some occasions, but it's not often someone straight away walking up to you and be like, when are we gonna fuck then? Because it's disrespectful.
Unless you're in trilogy on a
night out. Yeah. But like most people would find that offensive, but it's like on dating apps, it's so much that's normal that you can speak to people like that.
I think it is kind of sad though, because like I look back to like how my parents, how like they met and like their like cute little love story, and I was like, yeah, I know. My grandma was like, oh, like you're never gonna find someone that does all these things, and I'm like, but it's like someone out there. Like look at Tommy and Molly May. Like I know they're famous and whatever, but like he still shows her like all the love and deserve that like everyone should have. But it's like why is it so like you're never gonna find that? But why? Like I know the majority of boys these days are like kind of just fucked in the head. But like I feel like you like someone out there will actually be the person you want to be. But I feel like it's just such like relationships are doomed.
I feel like as the generations have gone on, I feel like love and sex have become very like two complete different things. Yeah. It's like back in the day, like love came with sex. That was a thing you did when you were in love. Like you'd have sex. Now, where that's not a thing, I think
it's just a lot more separated.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird one.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for coming to chat to me today.
Hi. Anytime.